Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. Is war about to break out between the Supreme Court and the legislature? And he's got the rundown.
Sam, breaking news this morning. Late on Friday, the Attorney General filed with the Nevada Supreme Court to find out whether or not public employees can serve at the legislature. The legislature is going to fight it. Are they being arrogant or not? Today we talked to Senator Randolph Townsend, chairman of the Legislative Commission, and get the real story. Sam?
And coming up on the Power Pundit panel, Bob Crowell, John Gwaltney, and Ray Bacon. It's all coming up next on the all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by Charter Communication.
The Abowed family has an appetite for dialogue. Agree or disagree, have the conversation. All opinions are welcome. Since 1977, Adele's.
Catch us straight, dine at 8. Lucky you. Lucky you. Dance till 1. Have some fun. Lucky you. Lucky you. Taste the shrimp. Have a sip. Try the pool. Play it cool. At the Sienna Hotel Spa Casino. Lucky you.
In business, the key to success is not the quantity of your clients, it's the quality of your clients. Almost all companies will tell you they want more sales, but what they really need are quality customers who pay their bills on time. With Employer Link's client vendor screening program, we provide comprehensive reports regarding the financial performance of your corporate prospects, customers, and vendors. Build your business with great clients and vendors. Call Employer Links today at 883-3733.
If you own a business and want to maximize your company's potential, join the Retail Association of Nevada. Our membership benefits include the Nevada Retail Network Self-Insured Group, providing workers' compensation coverage that can lower your rates. That savings can go directly to your bottom line. We are an effective pro-business organization that lobbies on behalf of our business members. The Retail Association of Nevada, protecting Nevada businesses for 35 years. Call 882-1700 to see what we can do for your organization.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad, political analyst Ande Engleman, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers Broadcast Center, here is Sam Shad.
And welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. We're joined today by Senator Randolph Townsend, and he is the chairman of the Legislative Commission, and right into the middle of things.
Yes. Legislative Commission sort of runs things when the legislature's not in session.
Exactly. It's a group of individuals elected by their members in both houses to deal with the issues that would come normally in front of the legislature, deal with the Legislative Council Bureau and all the branches therein, all the regulatory things that are passed in the interim to come back in front of us. And then, of course, IFC, Interim Finance Committee, deals with all of the money issues that change between departments, et cetera.
And when you don't have a meeting scheduled, I understand you as chairman make decisions.
There's a great deal of authority vested in the chairman for issues such as the one we have in front of us, which has to do with legal opinions. And you're going to have to rule. And it's one of the reasons we try to find one of the more senior members to be head of the commission. It rotates between the houses. I get all the good jobs, such as when we had to expand the building, get that done in 14 months.
Let's get to the important thing here. Okay, whether public employees can serve in the legislature. Dean Heller has asked the Attorney General to get this thing tested in front of the Supreme Court, and you've dived in and said that you're going to go in and argue against what the AG has ruled.
The position that we are required to take is the one whatever our counsel gives us. And today, because you've done such a wonderful job with this show and you're building an audience, particularly in Las Vegas and the north and east and west, the legal opinion that we have says that anyone serving anywhere can run and serve and still hold office. That's an opinion I will leave with you that for the first time we're letting out today, and we will defend that position and we will intervene at the appropriate time. As you know, there's the American Independent Party has also filed a writ, but that is a much more focused, it's asking our colleagues to make a choice now so that the court would have to say you're going to have to be either stay in your job or you're going to have to stay in the legislature. You can't do both. We think that's going to fail on its merits, that it's inappropriately filed.
Well, even more important, in that filing, they are asking to nullify the votes of Senator Dina Titus, Senator Rawson, these 6 people who hold public jobs and also are elected to the legislature.
Well, what's bizarre about it is, number one, I'm not sure there's anyone in the state of Nevada who doesn't know when they go into the booth that whoever they're voting for, one of them or both of them might in fact be a public employee. And no one has been asked to resign as a result of that, and so to make that invalid is a bit of a bizarre question. But in their
and
filing,
wouldn't it also cause just complete chaos?
well, I'm not sure the public was thrilled with the 2 legislative special sessions. I'm not sure they want us to go back for a third if we had to go back and redo every vote with a whole new group of people. I know the court will look at those kinds of things. I think what they're going to focus, though, is they will focus on what the Attorney General is doing on behalf of his client, which is the Secretary of State.
Now your proclamation comes from the opinion of a Legislative Council Bureau, correct?
Yes.
The Attorney General, in his quotes a previous opinion from the Supreme Court, the year was 18-something, I don't see it right now, but essentially it says if the legislature didn't follow the Constitution and the separation of powers, that it would soon be looked upon and treated as devoid of all moral obligations without any binding force or effect, a mere rope of sand to be held together or pulled to pieces at its will and pleasure. Is what is going on here?
Well, I always love these quotes from older cases because they're much more articulate than we are today. But let me quote from the opinion of our counsel.
Rope of sand thing in years.
Yeah, that one's escaped us. With regard to this, is a quote, with regard to the state executive department employees, we believe, that's the Legislative Council Bureau, we believe that the opinion of the Attorney General fails to properly apply the rules of constitutional construction and that the opinion is not supported by the relevant and persuasive legal authority. Meaning all people can serve, and that includes local government employees, that is a decision the public makes, that there is not enough fact to support that position in the Constitution, that the public has a right to know who their elected officials are and has a right to vote for them or not vote for them.
But don't you believe in separation of powers?
Absolutely. There
Checks
should
and
be.
balances?
Checks and balances.
What are the
always
checks
should.
and balances to keep public employees from taking over the legislature and just voting themselves pay raises, etc.?
Good question, and I think the answer always lies with the public. They do not have to vote for a public employee. We all have to declare who we work for and who our businesses are and where we go and what we do, and they should. And I think that without question, if the Attorney General argues his case, our Council Bureau argues ours, and the court rules because of what we think is a stronger case for us, that one of the things we have an obligation to do at the legislature is set parameters. And those parameters must be that everyone takes a leave of absence, so there is a separation, so that they remove themselves, whatever that separation requires. And then they must publicly disclose that on the floor and in committee, who they are, and declare that. And if it's going to affect them independently, as it has in the past, and not collectively, then they must abstain. We have to do it in the private sector. They should do it in the public sector.
Is the Supreme Court in a no-win situation here?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You have people up for election. This is the last thing they wanted. They didn't want the last one. I couldn't blame them. We're still trying to figure out what it was, and we're trying to figure out where it's going. We have always believed, and in the Senate, we honored the 2/3 that we think that the public went out and voted for twice. And we believe very strongly that should be part of the Constitution, without question. What has really been interesting is not just 2/3 about taxes, it should be 2/3 about expenses. That's the one thing that we're missing.
We'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers after this.
Atlantis is cooking up a party. It's every diner's paradise. Toucan Charlie's Buffet and Grill, voted Reno's best buffet by locals year after year. Experience the Mongolian barbecue, new Asian station, and sumptuous exhibition stations filled with fresh entrees, salads, and desserts. Try the Friday night seafood buffet and Sunday champagne brunch.
Would you like to savor a Trento pork chop? Or maybe pasta rags with grilled chicken? Hugo's Tuscan Grill at D'Andrea is a celebration of color, flavor, and freshness. Each dish is created from natural, wholesome foods that is delicious and nutritious. Hugo's is a comfortable restaurant with breathtaking city views. If you enjoy great food and good company, visit us here at Hugo's. It's the best that dining can be. 2900 South D'Andrea Parkway in Sparks.
Allegra is Northern Nevada's #1 offset printing and digital copying facility.
From disc to destination, Allegra utilizes tomorrow's technology today. We specialize in booklets, catalogs, manuals, newsletters, stationery, and envelopes.
Xerox, Docutech, 4-color printing with Heidelberg Speedmaster, desktop publishing and design, graphic services, pickup and delivery.
If you need printing, Allegra can do it. From disc to destination.
To experience the royal cuisine of India, you need some serious magic or simply transport yourself to India Garden, right here in Reno, where you'll discover Indian specialties refined over centuries. Sikh kebab, tandoori dishes cooked in our own tandoor oven, biryani specialties, curries, fresh-baked Indian bread, over a dozen vegetarian dishes, even dishes rare to India like dosa, South Indian-style crepes. India Garden off South Virginia near Sports West. We are India.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad and Ande Engleman.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we're here with Senator Randolph Townsend. Pleasure to have you here as always. Nevada Power sued the Colorado River Commission and the Southern Nevada Water Authority for conspiring to do something very nasty to Nevada Power. I won't use the word.
There's a serious issue here, Sam, and we think that without question, Enron was in violation of all moral and ethical standards, let alone legal ones, that really hurt this company and therefore hurt consumers. And we think that Nevada Power is trying to make a case that the CRC participated in that.
Colorado River Commission.
Yes, Colorado River Commission at some level. And as a result, we have a legitimate time in which to argue a number of issues. Number one, should FERC, Federal Energy Regulatory Committee, take over jurisdiction of this? Should the Colorado River Commission stay in existence? Why is it there? What does it do? Should it have jurisdiction over a certain amount of megawatts of power for Southern Nevada or for Los Angeles? There's a lot of serious issues that are going to come out of this, and not just water issues, which, by the way, is becoming as big an issue in Southern Nevada as power and may become much bigger over time. So this is real stuff, and this is hardball.
Senator, I read the Nevada Power filing, and I frankly was, and I've been around a lot, but I was shocked by the language used between people from the Southern Nevada Water Authority and the Colorado River Commission in talking about how to ram it to Nevada Power in order to make money off of them, which is basically stealing from the ratepayers.
Absolutely. There is no, we're not hiding anything here to say that there's no love lost between the Southern Nevada Water Authority and Nevada Power. That stems from I guess, lost confidence in the issue of whether there should be a public entity doing power in Southern Nevada and who should do that. And I hope you get those people on to argue their cases. But it's a serious riff. I don't think it does anything to help anyone in Southern Nevada and ultimately the state. And they're going to have to resolve this. But it's serious. I think it's about personalities. There are ways to solve this. And unfortunately, as I've seen in the past, as has Senator Raggio and a number of my colleagues in the North, they ask the people in the North to solve it because they can't get along well enough. So that may end up back with a number of us to try to help them resolve that issue. It is very serious. The words in that filing are very serious.
And this is all on tape, too, is the whole point.
Absolutely. It's all on tape. And whether you interpret it as to be a legal breach or not will be up to the courts. But this is big-time hardball, and it has a serious implication for ratepayers.
You chair Commerce Committee when the legislature is in session. Do you expect to see legislation before your committee dealing with this issue?
Without question. That's one you can go downtown and put your money on that one.
Okay. There was an interesting story broke over the last few days about folks who get subsidies for their telephone service. At the same time, they have all these extras like call waiting and...
Yes.
Well, these are people that don't have enough money to afford regular telephone service, so they get a subsidy, and then they go out and buy luxury services.
It came to our committee hearing on Friday for telecommunications that 60 to 65% of those receiving lifeline rates, for which you have to qualify under the federal guidelines for poverty level, actually buy additional services. I think the committee kind of came out of their chairs with that, and there will be an analysis by that committee and a recommendation that we reconfigure how people qualify, because the goal of those of us that pay regular rates is to help people who really need help and help them as much as we can.
And we pay a higher rate in order to subsidize those people.
Without question. And so our issue is very simple. Let's help the people that really need help. Give them what they need. They deserve it. That's part of paying the social rent on the face of the planet. We're glad to do that and glad to help. But let's don't help people that don't need help. That's the subsidy.
Does that
issue.
mean the subsidy might drop a little bit? We might see a little dip on our phone bills?
That's a tough call. We think the more competition there is, the more there's going to be a drop in the phone bill. And just what we've seen in Southern Nevada, where you have full-page ads in the local papers by 4 national competitors, all of a sudden prices are dropping for internet service as well as long distance and all the ancillary services.
Of course, we're not seeing that in the north yet.
Not yet, but I think you will see it, because it's the age-old story. If you come into someone's backyard, they're liable to come into yours, and that's what we're hoping happens. But the subsidy issue, once it gets configured, my guess is for the average home, you're going to see a drop. For higher income levels, it may go up, because that's what happens, is it starts to get down to real cost. And hopefully those that are in the moderate income level will at least see a tailing off, if not a drop in their rates, in their base rate.
Change the subject here. Funding our schools to the national level. The teachers want to see that. How do you feel about that?
Well, it's an interesting and I think very provocative thing to say. The realities are that you would add another $5 to, I believe, $650 million to our current expense. I'm not sure the public's prepared to support that until the teachers or any group that supports that goes out and convinces them and shows them why there is a reason to do that.
Or where the money's going to come from.
Or where the money's going to come from. And that's always the issue. We always have bond issues, and then we forget that if we build something with a bond, there's an ongoing cost, and the public has a right to know
Well,
that.
and I was concerned. Terry Hickman, who I adore, came on the program and was talking about this, and in principle it sounds great, but when I asked him how do you plan to suggest it be funded, he said, well, that's up to the legislature. Don't you think the teachers need to come up with a funding mechanism to go along with this?
Well, if they don't put it in the petition, which is my understanding they didn't, they at least need to let the public know what they're going to be lobbying for. It's as bad as when someone says, I want to repeal all the taxes from last session and just go ahead and cut the budget. Well, that's fine, but show us where you think we should cut, and we'll be glad to debate that issue. That's an important
Our understanding
component.
is that if you repeal the taxes, you'd still have the expenses. You'd have to go find another funding mechanism.
There's an awful lot of mandated federal issues that we've discussed at great length. And I think the issue with the teachers, I admire them. I applaud them for trying to get more money for education. We all believe that there should be, but a lot of it has to do with the way negotiations are done. As you know, we provide basically a block grant to local school districts, and then they negotiate after that. And when we get back to legislature 2 years later, we're always surprised on where some of that money went. We're trying to let the local districts, which include those that run those districts, and parents be involved at the local level. But we're finding then all of a sudden when we get back that there are things, perhaps there's not enough money for books, there's not enough money for computers, there's not enough money for this program or that program, and we're back to square one.
And we've got it. Thank you so much for being here. You're welcome anytime, Randolph Townsend. We'll be right back with the Pundit panel after this.
In business, the key to success is not the quantity of your clients, it's the quality of your clients. Almost all companies will tell you they want more sales, but what they really need are quality customers who pay their bills on time. With Employer Link's client vendor screening program, we provide comprehensive reports regarding the financial performance of your corporate prospects, customers, and vendors. Build your business with great clients and vendors. Call Employer Links today at 883-3733.
The Abowd family has an appetite for dialogue. Agree or disagree, have the conversation. All opinions are welcome. Since 1977, Adele's.
Your home is an expression of all things comforting and familiar. For custom storage, you can count on California Closets to provide quality, value, and design integrity. The process is easy, combining your personal style with our organizing expertise. We care about what matters most to you, making your home functional and beautiful. California Closets, simplifying home and life since 1978. Call today for your complimentary design consultation.
Join us for the uncorking of the 3rd Reno Tahoe Wine, Food, and Jazz Festival, April 30th through May 2nd at the Reno Hilton. Sample wines, cooking demonstrations, live jazz, and purchase fine art at festival days. Try dishes from the Reno Hilton's finest restaurants and taste wines from over a dozen wineries at the Grand Tasting. And at the exclusive Winemakers Reception and Art Auction, meet winemakers from Cakebread Cellars, Sequoia Grove, Benziger, and others. A fine wine festival that won't need to age to perfection. April 30th through May 2nd only at the Reno Hilton.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad and Ande Engleman.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we're joined by our terrific pundit panel. As always, John Gwaltney is here. He's with the Nevada State School Board. We also have Ray Bacon here, who's the Executive Director of the Nevada Manufacturers Association, and Bob Crowell, who is a Carson City attorney. Welcome to all of you. Well, let's start out with you, Bob, talking about this Supreme Court filing and what Senator Townsend just said.
Well, you know, I think that Supreme Court filing's got some significant problems with it. It's a petition for writ of mandate filed by the Attorney General against the legislature. But you know, when you think about it, it's not just a simple thing of going to the Supreme Court. I mean, think of it like this: the Supreme Court people, justices, are the ones who swear in the legislators. The Secretary of State is the one who signs the certificate of election for those legislators. And now you have the Secretary of State who signed that election certificate coming back and saying, no, I've screwed up, and we should now...
Well, he's basing that on the Attorney General's opinion, which is a new opinion, which says that there's a separation of powers and people in state government can't sit in the legislature.
Well, I think that's true. So you're going to take it to the Supreme Court where the justices said, raise your right hand and swear to uphold the Constitution, and they all did that. And now it's those same you're going to ask those same justices to overturn the oath that they took.
But our Supreme Court has already, indicated in the tax case this summer that they don't pay too much attention to the Nevada Constitution.
Right,
so,
exactly.
I disagree with that. I think it depends on whose ox is getting gored when you talk about the Nevada
Supreme Court
Constitution.
notoriously doesn't go up against the legislature too much and find fault with it. Usually, whatever the legislature asks for, that's what the Supreme Court gives them.
The tax question placed the Supreme Court in the middle of the political arena in the state of Nevada.
Again.
And these individuals are going to be pushed over this question. I hate to say it because I'm a public employee, but I think a large percentage of the public would like to see a limit on public employees in the legislature. Again, I'm opposed to that personally, but I think it is what the public would like to see.
Do you have a poll to back that up?
No, I think it's just the question of the people that I talk to.
Oh, that's true, actually. Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, let's shift gears because there was an interesting commentary in yesterday's RJ on a guy who's leaving the state as a reporter for the Review-Journal. And he's talking about, when Nevada finally grows up and things like that. He talked about the power case. He talked about the energy deregulation issue. Talked around the edges of what Senator Townsend was talking about with the CRC, Nevada Water Authority, and everybody else getting involved in monkeying around with the thing. Nobody mentioned the Oscar Goodman situation and his potential ethics violation. Let me clarify that. Are we, the guy's commentary fundamentally says Nevada politics is still, the good old boys club. Is that the case? I think he had a lot of merit to his article.
He's certainly quoted in the Las Vegas papers as saying, I'm the mayor and I'll do whatever I want.
Yeah.
And that seems to be his attitude on everything.
Well, that's a little bit of the good old boy club. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going before the Ethics Commission. There's going to be a hearing. And frankly, we are waiting to hear back from the mayor about coming on the show. I'd like to hear from him directly what he thinks before I say too much.
Yeah, it'd be good to hear from the mayor rather than excoriate him in his absence.
Well, that wouldn't be the first time that we've ever done that. Why stop now? Bob Crowell, you sit on the Carson City School Board.
I do indeed.
You came to a settlement with the teachers there that may affect thought across the state.
We came to a settlement with the teachers. Actually, it ended up with no raise for this current year that we're in. And
because there's no money.
Because there's no money, and it had a phased-in raise for the next year. It's a funding problem that Carson City's had to deal with, and I'm just glad that we were able to solve that issue.
I want to get a couple things straight. I understand that the teachers get a 5% raise every year, and this raise, essentially you're going to see some people next year get a 9% raise.
Well, what's going on here is that in Carson City, the roll-ups, the step and column step and column raises are 5%. And that's kind of one of the fundamental problems that happened in Carson City, was that the legislature funded those raises at 2% of the salary, when in actuality our net was 3.4%. So we started off being 1.2 million behind the 8 ball at the very beginning. But you're right, there's a 5% raise. If you qualify for the step and column, there's a 5% raise.
And this will be 4% on top of that as of next February.
Staggered in, that's right.
Staggered in, so a 9% raise for some people. It's not bad.
I'd like to change subjects here, just because I'm curious about this, and this is an international type topic. The price of gas is going through the roof, as everybody knows, in this country. Saudi Arabia has said that they're going to go along with OPEC and cut supply. What is the political message being sent here? Is this to help or hurt the Bush administration in the re-election campaign? Is this to open up drilling in Alaska? What do you think about this?
I think the question will hurt Bush in the long run. People who feel their purse being pinched are going to respond very negatively to this in the long run. It's way too far in the future. Drilling in Alaska couldn't happen for over a year or so. And so the response to this will be a negative, I think, for Bush. I'm amazed that the Bush administration is sitting still for this, to be honest.
Great opportunity for Russia. Absolutely amazing opportunity for Russia.
How do you figure?
Because Russia's got some large oil reserves. They've got the pipelines in place. They can increase their pumping substantially, become our best buddy, and take a real shot at the Middle East oil suppliers on this thing. And I will be surprised if they don't.
And I hope they do.
Well, man, I tell you, I think that that is a sad fact of life when those who, we're trying to put a democracy in the Middle East, and those who are supposedly on our side are over there cutting production so that the prices over here squeeze the American taxpayer on this end, and tell us to go fund a war to build another nation in the Middle East. That is a horror story, and one I don't think the United States or Bush should put up with.
It's certainly good to see Saudi Arabia, a good friend, helping us so much. We'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers after this.
It's America's largest historical district, and it's fun for the entire family. Virginia City is where the West comes alive every day, from train rides to gunslingers. Your gang can explore mines and interesting museums, visit historic saloons, and do some great shopping. Virginia City is the ultimate in family entertainment, and it's very affordable. Come up and stay overnight in our hotels, motels, and RV park. Virginia City, the Wild West at its best.
I tell you, John, this industry has really changed.
Tell me about it.
You seemed to do pretty well last year. What's your secret?
No secrets. Although I'll tell you something. The smartest thing I did was sign up with Pro Group Management.
Really? Yeah, they do workers' comp, right?
Yeah, their services are great. And get this, they saved me 30%. I've heard they saved others 50%.
That works for me.
Pro Group Management. Finally, workers' comp that works for you. Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by Charter Communication.
And if you want to know the show times, go to either krnv.com or kvbc.com, and it'll give a listing for every time that the shows air.
And our guest tomorrow, we are going to have Governor Kenny Gwynn.
For the whole show. We'll see you then.
Thank you for watching.
Good move.